Welcome to Category Management Knowledge Group's course preview on efficient assortment process and analytics. Adding new items to the assortment or reducing items from assortment is an ongoing process for retailers. This process can be referred to as efficient assortment, which fits within the category management framework. Many organizations have automated assortment tools, but anyone responsible for launching new products, including sales, marketing, and category managers, should understand the manual assortment process. This course is comprised of 3 chapters, where we walk you through the efficient assortment process, followed by the specific analytics required for an assortment project. Anyone who makes recommendations on new listings, delistings, or product lineup should complete this course. Here are the learning objectives for the fully certified course. We will only be covering a few objectives in this course preview. Let's get started. First, let's better understand what assortment refers to. Product assortment is one of the tactics, or 4 Ps, and is the core of the retailing service. There are some important things to know about product assortment. A retailer's total product offering is called a merchandise mix or product range. If a product is available for purchase, it's often referred to as in distribution. Distribution, or product availability, is the most important tactic. If a product is not available for sale in the store, it will not sell. And finally, the lowest level of detail in a retailer's assortment is the item level or SKU level, which stands for Stock Keeping Unit. Before we start reviewing the efficient assortment process, it's important to review the retailer's strategy as it relates to assortment. The retailer strategy is an umbrella that drives the different components of the category management process and the overall category plan. The retailer strategy ensures that all of the retailer's departments are working towards a united and consistent strategy, including the assortment strategy and approach. Efficient assortment is one of the category tactics that's analyzed as part of the category plan. Assortment can vary significantly across retailers based on the industry that they're in, as well as on their format strategy. Obviously, the format strategy significantly impacts the assortment strategy based on the number of items that will fit within each of these formats. Based on these format differences, as well as the different target consumers, retailers will have different strategies when it comes to assortment. Here are the most common retailer strategies associated with product assortment. Vendors need to understand each retailer's unique strategies to make recommendations that consider and align with their overall assortment strategies. A one-size-fits-all approach is not going to work. In the previous slide, we talked about the importance of private label in a retailer's assortment. Most retailers carry national brands as a significant part of their overall category assortment throughout the store. These national brands are heavily marketed through different media outlets, and consumers have strong awareness of these brands, resulting in strong brand equity. These national brands create a draw for consumers to come to specific retail stores. Retailers have also been developing their own store brands in many product categories, and this is changing the retail landscape. In some regions of the world, store brand market shares are as high as 50%. Store brands are usually more profitable for retailers and offer a point of differentiation for retailers as well. If retailers can build brand loyalty on their own private label brands, consumers have to come back to their stores to purchase the product again. National brands do not provide that differentiation for retailers without some type of exclusivity arrangement. It's a balancing act between providing the national brand selection that consumers are demanding and offering the assortment on private label that will maximize store brand sales. The variety of assortment is an important consumer and shopper factor when choosing the store that they'll shop at. A greater variety and larger assortment increases the probability of finding what they really want. Also, a variety gives shoppers alternatives when they shop, rather than having to purchase the same thing each shopping trip. But too many choices can also lead to confusion and complications for the shopper. Many shoppers want broad assortment, and therefore many retailers have continuously increased their assortments. This can result in disadvantages for retailers, starting with limited selling space within their stores. But a broad assortment can also raise costs in different areas of retail operations, including sales, shelf space, planning, advertising, inventory, and logistics, all which can impact the bottom line for the retailer. There have been many studies over the past decade that show that reductions in assortment do not necessarily reduce customer visits to the store, and sales may remain stable. Many retailers have taken this to heart and have already or are currently dramatically reducing assortments across categories by eliminating underperforming brands and items. Reducing assortment reduces confusion on the shelf for the shopper, and it also lowers costs for the retailer. In more convenience categories, national brands are not always the drivers of the category, and retailers are looking at eliminating or significantly reducing the number of brands on the shelf, while potentially expanding the presence of their more profitable private label brands. But it can also have a negative impact on sales, particularly in some routine and destination categories. This is where national brand selection is important, and consumers will travel great distances for better selection. Vendors run the risk of having different retailers choosing a different rationalization approach. This directly affects their internal portfolio, which can result in supply chain and manufacturing inefficiencies from this loss of consistency across retailers. Finally, many of the assortment decisions are made without considering that all-important consumer, the one with the wallet, who can get in their car and choose to drive to another store if their favorite product or flavor is not available because of a retailer's assortment initiative. The objective in assortment is to accurately target the number of choices that a retailer offers in a category, while meeting but not exceeding the needs of the target consumer. Once again, it's a balance to determine the appropriate range to meet both the retailer and consumer needs. Now let's look at some of the objectives that retailers have when they initiate SKU rationalization endeavors. There may be different objectives or reasons for them to rationalize their SKUs. Externally, they may downsize to alleviate shopper confusion. Some of the more common reasons for downsizing are usually mostly internally driven by operating decisions including giving better facings and merchandising, providing better inventory control, generating higher profitability and/or cost savings, making more room for store brand or private label products, and shrinking shelf space in one area to give room to another area in the store. Adding new items to the assortment or reducing items from the assortment is an ongoing process for retailers. This process can be referred to as efficient assortment, which fits within the category management framework. To be effective for a vendor or retailer, an assortment process needs to meet some key criteria to be successful. First, efficient assortment should be treated as an ongoing process, not a one-time project. Ever-changing market dynamics influence what's considered to be efficient. Things like new product initiatives, product discontinuations, promotional activity, changes in consumer preferences or behaviors. These all can influence market dynamics and should ultimately influence assortment recommendations. The process should also be consistent. The same process should be followed by different categories within an organization, which drives efficiencies and enables people to build expertise in the process. A consistency across time is also beneficial. Should assortment be redone every 6 months? 12 months? Each category can have a different frequency, usually driven by the importance of the category, but each individual category should follow the same frequency. The process should be as simple and as straightforward as possible. The more complex the process is, the more room there is for mistakes or delays. Also, if it's a highly complex process, it may be too difficult for broad stroke execution within an organization. At the same time, however, the data and tools should be robust. This will ensure the most accurate, insightful, and actionable recommendations. Retailers want to maximize sales and profit with the products that sell best in their store, while vendors are competing for shelf space with other vendors. According to the Grocery Vendors Association, vendors who proactively engage the retailers in the assortment process are outperforming their peers. Top-performing CPG vendors tailor less than 10% of their SKUs for individual retailers. Optimizing the product mix of any category in the store is critical to driving volume and profit for retailers and vendors. Manual efficient assortment requires a large time investment, and many retailers and vendors have invested in sophisticated efficient assortment tools and software that usually ties in with their planogram development. This allows assortment and planogram decisions to be made within days instead of weeks or months. These applications provide the correct assortment of products needed for the planograms and can easily be used to create planograms and floor plans for stores. The software can maximize each store's contribution through the development and execution of optimized assortments to increase product and store productivity. They should follow the industry's best practice EA procedure to streamline the analysis and decision-making process inherent to category management. Even if you use an automated efficient assortment tool in your organization, it's important to understand the fundamental decisions and requirements behind assortment by understanding the manual approach. Based on this, we're going to walk through a detailed 4-step assortment process. First, a category understanding is required. This includes confirming the retailer's overall assortment strategies, verifying the category role, and defining the category structure. The second step is to clean the data, which includes associating old or bonus items with current items, and properly segmenting the data. Next, the assessment is completed, which includes a category review, a brand and segment productivity analysis, and an item-level analysis. This step results in suggested additions and deletions to the retailer's current lineup. Finally, assortment recommendations are made based on the assessment that was completed. Within this course, we'll look at assortment with focus on one retailer. All of the analysis that we show is applicable for some broad stroke assortment that can be done across multiple retailers. It's important to note that some human touch is required to complete an effective assortment analysis for each banner and retailer, based on their overall retailer strategies. Now let's review each of these steps in more detail. We've now given you a preview of our certified course on efficient assortment process and analytics, which will help you to ensure you're making the most strategic and appropriate recommendations and decisions as it relates to assortment. There are many options for you to choose from if you're interested in purchasing this course. The online course is available for purchase through Our House, which is Category Management Knowledge Group's state-of-the-art online training center. If you'd prefer, we can also run a private webinar for up to 200 people for a cost of $3,000, or a live session at a national or team meeting. Or if you're from a larger organization where many people would want to access the course, we can also make the course available for your use within your own internal learning management system. Your choices are limitless. Return on investment of your data purchase is paramount. For the millions of dollars some organizations spend on data, you want to know that that data is being optimized and maximized. Purchasing data gives your organization facts and data, but you shouldn't allocate your whole budget to data. By adding in software and reporting tools, you're providing them with information. Usually, this requires additional budget dollars to pay for the software and tools. For many organizations, the data and software comes with training, and unfortunately many believe that training is enough to develop skills to properly use data, but it's not. You need to provide applicational training that will help your organization move from data to insights, and teach them how to then turn those insights into action. Not only category management needs to have these skills, sales, marketing, space management, and other departments require these analytic skills to make more strategic and fact-based decisions in their roles. And to move to breakthrough insights, the right analysis at a much deeper level needs to be done. This is where the specialists do their work, where category management and shopper marketing can complete the in-depth analysis to find those breakthroughs. You need to set aside part of your data budget to pay for the corresponding applicational training to increase capability on your team and in your organization ongoing. This will help you increase data return on investment, and more importantly, move your organization to a more strategic and fact-based approach. At Category Management Knowledge Group, we can work with you to create solutions that will help you move your organization to a more strategic, fact-based place with increased return on investment for data purchased. So where do you go from here? If you're interested in purchasing the certified course or working with us to help you determine multifunctional training opportunities for your organization that will ultimately lead to increased return on your data investment, please contact us. We don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach and will consult with you to ensure that what we deliver meets your specific needs and business issues. We hope to hear from you soon. Have an excellent day.